Tech3 Media Friends, brought to you by Rug Radio. Welcome. I'm super excited this week. I don't know if you recognize a face that you see before you, but this is a voice you may have heard if you're in the Web3 music space, co-host of NFT Record Shop, whispering in your ears at odd hours, Fridays and odd hours all over the week. Web3 OG, composer, music producer, and I'm hearing just general music wizard, Abel Okugawa. Welcome.
Hey, thanks for having me, Minty. It's always great to be on your show. I love what you do, and you've got a cool setup here with the video, me, and you, and
We're
we're just
vertical, baby. We're,
chilling.
we're we're going
Yeah, this is
vertical in
cool.
2024, and and if you're not seeing this appropriately, all you have to do is click on the thing here, or just pop this out in PIP, and you'll see all of this that Abel's talking about. You'll see the video. You'll see Orbital Surrealism, which I'm an owner of. I'm a proud owner of Orbital Surrealism, just above, and I think it's a really great piece because it's also going to set up the piece that you're going to tease for us later on in the episode, Dichroic Dreams.
hmm Should I hold this up the whole time?
The entire time, because if you let it
Okay.
go, it's just. But I think you can do like hearts. You can do like interesting things with this. I don't know. It's like it like exactly like if you do hearts or something like Henry did it when he was here for Odie Force. Like he did a heart, and all of a sudden there was like hearts everywhere. It's crazy. Um,
Cool.
so it's but you're visual for clearly you're a visual artist. You're already keying in on all these visual elements that we can play with here. But it's been an interesting journey for you, and I love the work that you do. Clearly in the music NFT space, adding the visuals and creating experiences that sound really amazing with the soundware, by the way. Um, but it's interesting that you have also moved into this. I don't know. Please explain, because I'm this is part of like why I have the show. I need to ask questions. I need to find out more about your collaboration with Access Protocol, because it seems that you have brought to bear your Web 2 creations, and so your library as a composer, as a music producer for creators. And it's a huge problem. It's a huge need, because us as creators, like I'm always like looking for music and like all these elements to make this better, to make this experience better, because this can be a very dry
Yeah.
experience. And so to add production value, having original music is so amazing. It just really it heightens everything. Please tell me more about what you got going on, what you're cooking with Access Protocol.
Yeah, that's a good question. So first of all, I've been making music and working with films and commercials and the world of music licensing for quite a while. Somebody told me, they said you've got a career of making music for film for 13 years, and I was like, oh, probably because I've been doing this for a while. So doing that, I've basically created and my own music catalog. So I have about 500 or more tracks that are all hosted online, and those are all pre-cleared for use. And so it's basically you can subscribe to my website and get access to those tracks. And this is a service I provide for editors and producers, and you can temp stuff into your show or whatever media you're using, and then you know that you'll be able to get the rights for that depending on the uses that you need. So I have quite a few clients that use my catalog for their edits, and I always add music to my catalog and update it and do different things like that, make playlists. So I have this sort of really active um, library of music that I've created and that I own, and it's something that I manage, and I have a few deals here and there where there is represented by music supervisors and things like this. And I really wanted to bring that whole experience into Web3 more and more. I mean, this is something that I saw right off the bat, that the technology can really, help to provide some of these processes or negotiations or questions like, can I use this for this? And if I want to, get the right license and I need to pay a little bit more, or, does this fall into my deal already that I have? A lot of that kind of work takes up a lot of my time. And so I've always looked for ways to streamline that process. And I've got some really cool tools. I've got this app that you can download. It's on the Adobe website, and it's a plugin for Adobe and Premiere and um, also After Effects. You just put it into your program, and then it pops up in your work window, and then you can see my catalog and use my music. So I've got this sort of like active user base of my music, and it's sort of like um, a constant thing that I'm managing and updating and answering questions. And sometimes the clients will say, hey, we did this, but now it's going to like network TV. Is it licensed for that? What do we need to do? So I when I saw Access Protocol was doing, and I mean they're creating a huge community of creators that it's based on Solana, and they're everybody from making video content of educational web, NFT and blockchain stuff, to creating art, everything from AI to illustrations, and so it's kind of like I see that as like a new emerging um, just movement of creativity, and like who knows what could be created out of that. And that's where I like to come in with my music catalog and really provide what I do, and allow people access to the catalog that I already have that's pre-recorded and they can use, and then also possibly develop custom stuff and things like that. So I think that that's something that I saw the technology being able to provide, and I wanted to really make that sort of transition to
How's that differentiate
applying
though
it.
from what you're doing? You have music NFTs, you have this collectability. It almost seems like those two worlds didn't quite meet before, but in this platform they come together.
Right. So my challenge that I face as a music producer and somebody who has a music catalog is the commercial catalogs that are out there for 12.99 a month. You can get like access to whatever, and but where I come in is more of a unique music experience. So that's my niche, is actually providing a more um, higher quality niche music experience, and maybe people call it bespoke music, custom music, that kind of thing.
I like the way it fits. I like the way this music fits on me. It feels good.
Right. So it's like how yeah, exactly. Like how do I interface with a larger audience that's, you know, maybe doesn't have a lot of money to license something, but is making great content, and also, using more original and better music is just going to boost the quality of what they're producing. That's who
100%.
I'm work with. It's not, providing music for those that don't care about that and just want bulk music playing in the background. Um, so instead of me negotiating on an individual basis of, hey, you want to use this, which track do you want to use, and where do you, and I've been able to implement a program where you get access to one song, maybe three songs. It's a three-tiered program, three songs, 7 songs per month at your choice from my catalog. So I don't have to manage that aspect anymore as well. So
So
that takes a little
is it
bit.
smart contracts that you set the terms for, and then those who, yeah, you have to walk me through the access thing, because it's just like if I stake with you, right? It's almost like social.
Right.
It feels like a new wave of SocialFi that benefits creators, and I think that all the friend tech and like all the other big ones or are learning. They're like, oh hey, this kind of worked and it worked in some ways, but what's the actual problem that we need to solve for? And a lot of it is with the artists, and like yourself, you have this catalog, and you have basically things that you can sell. So it's just like I think any artist, visual or music, can benefit from this, because it sounds like they figured out a way to have a program where I like you as an artist, Abel. I want to stake with you. You have an amazing catalog, and by doing that, I get access to some of your music.
Right. So, and you might not know, most producers don't know what they want to use. They just know they want to use something, right? So a lot of people come to me and they say, I really love what you do. Can you make some music for me? And because they want to have something that I make in their productions, and they know the quality that I bring. And but they don't know what it is exactly that they want to use. So that allows me to, give people like freedom of choice. And, you know, on the higher level of that, it's, what could you make something custom for this, but what I'm providing the service is just more of like the lower tier. Like, I know I'd like to use something of yours. I'm not sure what it is. And so if I go ahead and do this now, then I know I'll have access to that when I make my piece, right? So that, I mean, it's really an interesting thing. Like a lot of my license, is come to like a lot of the requests for a license come after the piece is synced already in the edit and approved.
Right. Right.
So I'm trying to implement that kind of a system to a larger, body of creators, because the reason that the producers and editors like what I do is because they know that whatever they do with their media, I'll be able to approve those rights. They'll never get into a situation where I'll be like, no, that we can't use the music for that.
They just
Because
have
I
to come back
have,
to the table. They just have to alert you like, hey, this is going to broadcast now. It had a great run in social. It's doing so well. We're going to take it to broadcast. They just have to ping you, basically.
well, they have to, and I mean, in that sense, like if you go to NBC requires you by law to, submit a cue sheet, which has to be approved, and so they, at that level, yes, you do have to, but at the level of I'm just a creator and I'm making something, like they might not even know how to get in touch with me and ask me, or, so I do have like systems like Content ID. So if you upload something with my music on YouTube, I get a notification, and we can broker a deal, or I can help you clear that music or do whatever is necessary. So there are some systems to help with the general public and notifying like whether something's going to be used or not. But in general, I think people that are creators, and especially like starting out and working in, um, you know, just all social media and online and stuff, you can't really afford to pay a large price for all your music. You
That's
can't,
the really again. That's the really key part here. When I think
yeah.
that people can benefit creator wise as well as musician wise, because that's the problem right now. Like I as a creator, I need your good music on my thing. I know you've got an amazing live. You have 500 tracks, dude. That's like respect. You
Yeah.
have so much great music. I just I would like access to that. But I know, this is very speculative work. Nobody's paying me for this episode. Maybe Rug Radio a little bit, but it's just like, it has not the biggest monetary benefits to everybody. And I think that, there are some, bigger creators certainly that could afford like the top music. But, as you're starting out, people just watching this now, how is it that they can have access to your tracks?
Well, by staking ACS tokens in my Access Creators account. So basically, if you stake, um, you know, 3,500, that gives you tier one, and it goes up and up and up, right, to 10,000. So if you stake that what that does is um, it boosts the emissions, right? So what happens is I don't have to necessarily charge you specifically for your use in the gen. And this is all based on social media licensing. It's not for film and TV and all of these sort of higher end complicated things.
Yep.
It's a very basic like request that I get that is that I'm able to provide this tiered license for. So if you want to use my music, instead of coming to me and negotiating for a single song and like picking the song and doing all of that, you can just go ahead and stake in my account, and that gives you 1 license per month, or 3 licenses per month, or 7 licenses per month to use. You don't have to use them all.
The beauty of
But
this, I'm thinking, I'm
yeah,
hearing, is I have my access tokens. So what's the initial? How much?
3,500.
So
I
3,500. So I take 3,500. I stake it. The emissions are paid to you. That gives me the ability to use the license. And then after I'm done, I take my 3,500 back. Is
I
that
mean,
right?
you could if that's the way you wanted to play the game, but
Yeah.
what happens when you stake your emissions is, I mean, I'm sorry, when you stake your ACS tokens, you actually get emissions as well for staking. So the subscribers get emissions daily, and so do the creators. So
Oh, nice.
there's more
There's
benefit
incentive to
into
stay.
staking.
There's incentive to stay
Or
because that gives me
yeah,
more tokens in order to
I
utilize
mean,
more media.
yeah, if you just want to like, come swing by, stake your tokens, grab a license and run, like that's okay, but that's not really it's not that's not really my customer base.
Hmm.
It's that's the type of person that is just going to take my music for free and try to upload it anyway. So that they'll what's going to happen to them is they'll do something that they'll eventually get a cease and desist notice.
Well, but
So it's
more meaning that the
yeah,
risk for the creator is I can come in, I can do one license, and I can try it, but you're still going to get paid from the music standpoint because you're going to get emissions, and so you're
right,
from the staking. So you're getting paid no matter if I'm just trying it for one, didn't work out or something. Great. Let me try another creator that's maybe more my vibe. Maybe I'm more Metallica vibe. I need something more hardcore guitars
right,
or something. So
yeah.
so I can go to another creator. I'm like, oh, okay, this is the one that I'm looking for. And I can stake that, but I don't lose my original access token.
Well, you do because there's a fee when you go in and there's a fee when
Okay.
you come out. So you do, it is like you're not going to like go in and then, but the longer you stay in, the emissions could cover that fee. So you could, game the system to like, stake the minimum that you can and then, wait for your emissions to build back your fees and then pull your money out and be like, ha ha ha, I got a free if you want to do all that work, like go ahead. But you can also stake, the first tier, try it out.
Yeah.
Then you could come back and stake the second tier. And that's instead, if you took your money out, then you'd have to come back in and restake to the second tier. Or, you know what I mean? So it's going to cost you more. It costs you less to stay there and grow and stake more and more and more. You could stake your first a bit and wait for your emissions to grow enough to stake to the second tier,
Because there
but
is a gaming the system, as you said, but I think even then it
mm,
still is to benefit to the creator as well as
yeah,
the
yeah,
musician. So it's just like there's a benefit there to trying it out and then seeing if you
mhm.
like it, great, and then you can go up. You can go up to tier two, and I can get access to even more music because that's probably the route that I'm going to go. But there is an ability to try things out, as you said, instead of the right click steal. It's more of like, oh hey, like I
I
really
mean,
want to have
this is
access
a
to it.
yeah.
We'd
Right
much,
click
we'd much,
steal is that like you can't like okay, I do really great work. A lot of people steal my work because they like it. So
yeah,
sometimes I'll find those creators and I'll be like, "Hey, you like my music? Let me help you by figuring out the proper license
yeah,
for you so that you can continue to make your World of Warcraft videos with my music in it. You can continue to make your foot fetish videos with my music in it. You can continue
that's
to
what I'm
make
doing it for.
your
Yeah,
ISS, I have one person that literally posts every day like 3 videos of the ISS space
space
station
station. Yeah,
with my music and just like because there's a
uh,
stream. So it's like there's
get that.
levels of creators and affordabilities and I've grown with some of these channels. So at first I say, yeah, let's figure out a deal where you don't have to, it's not going to cost you more than you can afford. And then they come back to me and say, hey, guess what? My videos got picked up to be syndicated on this other channel. We've got this kind of a budget for it. Can I license all your music for it? And sure, great. That's my world. Like I'm not here to fight the kids who want to download my music for free or, it's
You're
this is
providing no, you're
yeah,
providing access, and I think that this is hello access protocol. But like I think you're providing access, and this is the thing is it's like the people that are stealing it, they don't quite know how to do it on the legit side. So they're it's like
right.
it's very very scary. And we've gone we've over the on the show we've gone over how Rita had his entire Twitter canceled, 40,000 people canceled. Dude had to start over from square one. It was a disaster for him. Absolutely, you could see emotionally is so hard for him to deal with because you work so hard, and you might not quite know, and that's what he got pinged on was music rights. He didn't
Yeah.
quite know how to navigate that appropriately. What you're doing is you're providing a very clear access point to your music, and I think that a lot of musicians from the musician side are like, God, how do I do that? Like, I want people to try and utilize my music. I just want to provide them with a pathway to do it. It sounds like that this
Yeah.
is a cool Web3
Yeah.
pathway, right? Of just like, oh, I like, from a DJ side, I know how to like, okay, I can stake something. And then, what a utility. I have access to, high quality music in which to use in my creation. So it sounds like there's a benefit to both sides. I likened it to like, SocialFi and like, this sort of friend tech thing, but you were in friend tech. Can you explain sort of like what you see different between access and like something like friend tech?
Yeah. Well, Friendtech is based on buying keys, which give you access to a private chat, and in that chat you can do only text and sending photos or links. So it's very basic, and the way it works is people come in, they buy your key, um, and it gives you a small percentage of that. And then as other people buy your keys, the floor price of your key grows. So the later you come in, the higher price you pay. And those who paid a lower price earlier can decide to dump their key and make a little bit of money on that. And you also make a small fee and the platform makes a small fee. So it's much more gamed towards
Secondary
getting in, yeah,
sales.
getting in
Yeah.
early on an artist that's
Yeah.
about to blow up.
Yeah.
And I don't have any control over my floor price. My floor price,
Mhm.
it bumped all the way up, I think, to 0.02 or something like that pretty quickly. And
Yeah.
that's about the cost of an NFT.
Mhm.
So if somebody's paying the cost of an NFT, but they're not getting an NFT, I'm confused. Like it kind of confused me. So it's like, well, I do have a lot of value to add in the information, but the
Mhm.
tools that Frentech provides don't really allow me to put my information out there properly. So
Mhm.
it's very different than what Access Protocol is doing. Access Protocol, there's not a key where you buy in and you sell out. There's a staking and you can unstake or you can stake forever and those tokens get burned and you don't get them back, but you get emissions forever. So there's that, but I have control over my floor price. I like right now, my floor is 2,500 access tokens. So that's what I'm asking you to start with. And then you can choose to go to 3,500 and get the benefit of the music licensing tier one. You can go up and up. There's a few other things that I'm adding in there too that I think are really smart and convenient for me and other people.
And
And
I want to say when you say numbers like 2,500 and 3,500, relative to fiat money, this is actually very, very attainable. This is a
I
very,
think it's
very,
like $10 to $20 kind of range.
yeah. So this is very attainable, guys. I just want to like
Yeah.
re-accentuate this, the access that you could, from the again, the value from the creator side. This is so amazing for creators and then musicians. So on the creator side, I have access and I have the ability to get the legal rights to utilize some of the things I have. On the musician side, it's like, yeah, here's another way for me to monetize and do it
Right.
properly and give young creators an ability to have a channel in which to do this properly and then bump it up as well if there's some success. It's like it seems like there's a
Exactly.
really nice um, problem being solved here because it's a problem of mine. I want good music on my
Yeah.
show.
I know you do. And you do have good music. Like I love the intro stuff that
Thank
I
you,
heard.
thank you.
I was sitting here like, oh, this is fun.
Well, this is all. That's the
Because
thing.
that's what
Those are all
music
royalty
does.
free tracks. Exactly.
Yeah.
I have a subscription to a service, and then they give me a selection, and from there I kind of dig through. But it's very hard and nebulous, royalty free music
Hey,
because it's
it's the cheap protect your ass plan, and like that's you're doing a smart thing by doing that, but it's just you don't have other options until we start exploring this, right? So I am connected to some pretty large music libraries and
yep,
that kind of stuff. And
yep,
I really like one of the first articles that was written about what I'm doing was from a music from the platform that I use for my music library hosting and stuff, and them looking at NFTs as like a new outlet for this. It really didn't go anywhere. The technology, I mean, there's some things out there, but I haven't seen much like around my ideas of how I'm thinking about this and how I really see this could work. So this is definitely something that's very brand new and it's going to take a lot of education in a sense, but I've gotten contacted from other composers who have libraries way bigger than me, um, in the thousands, 10,000 tracks, and they're like, "Can you help me
Latent, absolutely
onboard?"
genius stuff that's literally
Yeah,
latent. This is the powerful thing here, guys. From
yeah,
that standpoint of composer as music creator, you have this library, and when it's not active, or again, this is a supplemental way to make it active. This is not an exclusive right. This is just a non-exclusive license that anybody can have access to. But on the other side, it's just like, hey, I can access this. Again, this is for me, this is just such an absolute no-brainer,
yeah.
to be connecting, these two needs, because from that royalty standpoint, it's hard for me to develop my brand if I don't have consistency and sort of growth. When
Hmm.
I have access to a brilliant mind like yours musically, I can develop my brand because I can be like, oh yeah, this track works well for this. And then, oh hey, this is the great opener. Oh hey, this is the great thing. I can dive into a creator's music and connect with that creator as a creator and help develop my brand in a much more powerful way, because going the royalty free route, I'm just like, I'm grasping at I listen to a lot of music, so I'm grasping at straws. I don't know who's coming from what or where. I'm just like, oh, that sounds like a good sound, and I can kind of like, cobble things together. So
Hmm.
this is a very, very interesting way, and I know this is just the start for you, as you're
It is, yeah.
appreciate you. I appreciate you, like, stepping into this interview, because this is something very, very nascent. This is something very, very new. I applaud you
Mm.
for taking the vulnerability that this takes, because as you said earlier, it could be, somebody could go and round trip it really quick or something like that. But I think that's belying the bigger picture here, the macro here, what you're
Yeah.
providing, what hopefully I see you benefiting as well as the creator community here that needs access to great quality music. And eventually, it sounds like access isn't restricted just to music. This could be for illustrators. This could be, I want a really good
Oh
logo
yeah.
backing. I mean,
It's just a model and a set of tools. And like I didn't really say what else they have, right? So they have this front sort of system, and then they also have an app called Scribe, which is a blog. So you can issue blogs, and then it's connected to your, sub your creator's account, so people can like subscribe to you or stake there.
yeah,
Then they also have another one that's called Sketch, and that is similar to Manifold, how Manifold allows you to set up your own contract and issue tokens and collections and stuff like this. They do that. It's just on Solana. So it's, for me, that's a really big aspect, is provenance and how that is getting treated, and that there's actual apps and tools that are attached to it and connected. And so that was another thing. It's not just the subscription model, like stake and earn money and front end kind of thing. It's actually there's some tools that I can use, like to do airdrops to my subscribers.
nice.
I can write articles about what I'm doing, and other things like that, with like that are more complicated. We could do like a version 2 later with like different wrapped NFTs and things, because yeah, so I'm starting with my music catalog.
Yeah.
And the other thing, just to say like what else I've added to use this technology, so very try to keep it quick, is a lot of people ask me to review their music and their mixes. So I've added a lower tier. If you'd like me to give you a
Oh, I
professional
like this.
review of your
Yes.
mix, you go ahead and stake. And what I'll do is I'll produce a actual list for you of different adjustments and things like that, of improvements, and then also a list of what I feel is going really well and what you could build off. Because that's a service that I
This sounds
provide a
insane to
lot
me.
of.
This sounds insanely
Yeah,
awesome to me, because you, as a
yeah,
creator, as a music creator, you have so much value. We all look to you in this space, Abel. We all call it the wizard, but like we all look to you in this space, whether that's from the sound side of things, like please help us, like mix spatial audio and like create these real sounding worlds. And I think when you're doing the NFT pop up record shop, a lot of young creators coming in there, like they don't quite understand NFTs, or they don't understand like what to do next in this space. And I'll put down the information down below for NFT pop-up record shop, as well as Able, and so you can follow them. Able, I'll get from you the access protocol link as well, so that we can begin checking that out. From the artist perspective, before we go into your teaser of Dichroic Dreams to end with, are there any other tools that you think that like as somebody who's just kind of starting out, maybe they have a couple songs, maybe they want to like list it somehow. What are the tools that they need in order to get to that level where they can share their music with access?
Oh, you, I mean, you don't really need any tools. It does require some Solana to get started because you have to pay for your own contract to get created, which,
Hmm.
I mean, you're paying for your contract and you own it and it's tied to your wallet. And that's how Manifold works as well. So you do need like about zero point 0.1 Solana to make enough transactions and create the contracts and things as a creator. You just need a Phantom wallet or any Solana compatible wallet to stake and join as a subscriber on the platform. And I think that you need some good ideas and sort of a plan to go forward. But I like to start with tools that allow me to collect people who are interested in what I'm doing, not in a spamming out like, I'm just going to grab all these emails from this other bulk email and then, copy that over or something, but more of like when there's actual genuine interest shown, I like to sort of, maybe, put that person onto a list or add them to a chat or something like that. So this is something that, I think if you're getting started, this is a really good way to kind of collect people who are interested in what you're doing because they can become subscribers and they can be idle. And the first thing they're getting is a small emission of tokens every day that they can collect. So it's a very easy, like, kind of Kickstarter program.
Yeah, it's a follow and a subscription,
Yeah,
but all you're doing is staking. This is the great thing. It's just like
yeah.
you're going to benefit because of
So
this
you
stake price.
could set that at like 100 ACS tokens, which is like ridiculously small amount, and you could grow that. And I think that's a really good tool to create a base. And what you're doing is you're generating a list of wallets so that you can either, do pre-sales or airdrops or, whatever, people like to call them whitelists and stuff like that. And
Yeah.
build up a value of like capture that value of interest. And that's something that I didn't really have. Uh, I didn't have before this, in a sense, like before this tech kind of came out. I started with um, Foundation and Manifold and like using platforms, and I was kind of having to issue NFTs and sort of then see who's interested in this, right? Whereas I think there's a large part of like building an audience here. If you're really starting out, like you need to build your audience so that you have a place to share your work to start with, and then go to go beyond that into the world. And so I feel like I started at feeling like anybody who's interested in NFTs and music and audio visual art is in this world. And the way to, connect that is through the blockchain and collecting NFTs and having our wallets sort of represent our identity and our connections. And so I think this is a really good, cheap, as in gas fees, way to provide that sort of platform to start out for artists. Um, to
Because
get that group.
that's what dichroic is. Dichroic is, it sounds like a reward for somebody who has minted on another
Oh,
platform,
yeah,
and so it's this system, but you're having to be a bit more manual with it. So it's only somebody not has just shown interest, but has made the commitment, like myself, to actually mint and to hold one of these. I didn't win this bad boy, but this looks absolutely genius because for me it feels like you have orbital surrealism, but when you release this dichroic dreams, this feels like what was going on inside your brain as you were making, or just like it feels like going into the lab of the wizard.
yeah. That's what it is, and it's like it's a collab with Aphex, who's a really talented 3D artist, and that's kind of the idea that we wanted to represent our creative space, and so he, started designing this lab, and you'll see like there's some bear ears in there, so that's actually part of the characters from his like collection called Ice Bears. And then as you get deeper in, you'll see on the desk there's all these like actual items that I use. There's like a tape machine and my APC, mixer, and I've got my Pro Tools screen up there, and so we really like created this, virtual experience of it, and like, our creative spirits are in this world. And yeah, I mean that's a yeah, so it's a reward piece for the top collector. So that's kind of how I think this is really cool. It's like this person collected 6 editions, like let's reward them as, the top supporter. And so I think creating those systems where as a creator I can say, if you really like what I'm doing, go ahead and collect as many as you would like, because there's something else for you, we're going to reward you for that. And that feels really good. And I think it's the type of thing that I see expanding the experience of music here. Yeah, so this piece is it. And yeah, appreciate you, Minty, for having me.
Teaser of Dag Krog Dreams. Let's go. Now this is also the vertical view, and it does no justice to the beautiful work done here by the visual team. And it's so interesting your collaborations, and I just want to leave off on that. You do such wonderful audio visual collaborations with you as a musician, and I think a lot of visual creators and artists know you and want to work with you. Has that increase with Web3, like that level of collaboration, of just like, oh gosh, can you do something for this visual? And vice versa?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. As far as like individual artists and collaborating there, it's, kind of like a lot. It's similar to working in the commercial industry where, if somebody's working at one agency and they see what you've done, and then they, go to another agency, they're probably, your work, speaks for itself. But with NFTs and Web3, it's allowed a lot of my friends who've worked in the commercial industry and all of us to sort of expand out and have our own, voice and support systems and things like that. And so that has led to more collaborations that are just, would never happen in a commercial sense. The thought, the detail, the depth of, just like production that we put into this, and that quality is not something that you'd find easily in a commercial sense. Not that it's like it's still the same quality in a sense, but it's always like this is coming straight from us. This is our expression of like what we want to do with our art forms, how we envision that. So it's.
That's why we're in this
really
space. We're in this space to do that level of expression, that deeper dive that gets beyond sort of the commercialism of our work that we need to stay alive, but also I think this allows us to create work, and then this is what I love about these systems that we're working on in Web3. That work can then be part of the library that functions, and that does become part of the way to feed our hungry faces as we create more and more, because us creators, we're hungry. And love having you here, Abel. Thank you so much. I'm gonna put your details down below, as well as your link for Access Protocol, so that you can check it out and see if it works for you as a musician and or illustrator, to see to help bridge your library to creators. Because on the creator side, I'm hungry for it. I need this stuff over here. I need the visuals. I need the music. And I know there's a lot of talented creators that have these libraries, and so finding that solution for us to utilize them legally and fairly is so important in solving in this space. And I thank you for sharing your experience so far, and invite you back when it's
absolutely
when you're on your yacht.
I totally I'm not gonna get a yacht, but it'll, yeah,
A plane, okay.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I get you. You're in the skies.
Probably should start with a car, or just, some sort of that runs on water or something fancy like that,
There you go. Go green. Thank you, Abel.
All right.